Hello everyone, today we have new video review and this time we are going to check fresh release from Zoukei-Mura. As you can see, that's an aircraft in 1/48 scale and that's F-4J Phantom II Marines version, and it's part of the Super Wing series of course, and it continues series of Phantom aircrafts from Japanese manufacturer. And now we have a commercial sample to check it, to see what is hidden inside and why this kit is interesting for us. Now let me remind you that we are gathering money for the new camera. You can help us too by pressing the donate button on our website. It is easy, it is done via PayPal, so it should be safe as well. As for the kit, as you can see, packaging is quite typical for this manufacturer. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Then on the side we have some information about the kit in Japanese, also some safety advices. And on the other side it's quite heavy box, I would say. And here we have pictures of assembled model with some Japanese notes. I'm not sure what is written there, and I wonder when we will see English writing there. That's a top opening box. So we are going to open it and check everything closer. So as usual, for Zoukei-Mura we have all sprues packed into the separate plastic bags. As you can see, there is plenty of space inside, so everything should arrive to you intact. Now just give me a second to open the first plastic bag and we will start our review. As you can see, there is, all parts are molded out of light gray plastic. And I think if you had a chance to build first Phantom from Zoukei-Mura, this one should be quite familiar to you. So here we have first plastic sprue. As you can see, it is quite a mix of parts, of various elements. For example, here we have cockpit segments, that's a combing panel. Overall molding quality looks quite fine. For example, I can zoom into the spylons, and as you can see we have here riveting and recessed panel lines. Everything looks quite fine. Here you can see another segment. I guess that will be placed somewhere on the fuselage, but I'm not sure. Next we have another gray plastic sprue. This one is smaller because it contains only a few elements. But still it is interesting to see which ones. So just give me a moment. So here they are. We have tail wings, and also we have here some cockpit elements, two dashboards, landing gear, wheel rims, another dashboard, and also some minor elements for the cockpit as far as I can guess. I can zoom in to those two dashboards. As you can see, molding quality is really nice. Of course, professionals would rather replace it with PE parts, but if you carefully paint those two, you will get a really nice result as well. Here you can see wheel parts, and here are tail wings. Note attachment points, they are not that thin, so you will have to be careful while cutting through them, but I think it won't be a huge problem because we are used to see such, let's say, feature on Zoukei-Mura kits. Next we have another gray plastic sprue. I'm opening it and we will see it in a second. So here it is. Oops! It is bigger sprue, which is dedicated again to different elements. Mostly here we have, for example, this, I guess that's wheel wells panels. Here we have some also sidewalls for the wheel wells. This one should also serve as a cockpit floor as far as I can guess. And what else? Here are some parts for pilot seats. And these should be quite detailed for out-of-the-box detailing. Here you can see them closer. Also the same can be said about this molding quality. Just imagine how it will look like after you paint all those elements. Here you can see some sidewalls for the wheel wells, and overall quality seems to be fine. Next we have clear plastic sprue, which is packed into the separate plastic bag, and of course it will prevent any possible scratches, but due to strange placement of the main segment, it might be moved a little. So here you can see it. That's the part which will be used for the closed canopy version. As you can see, it is not fixed in the frontal segment, at least in my version. So that's why it is movable and it can be broken off, but I mean it won't be broken, it will be just separated from the connection. Here you can see also parts for the open canopy version. Molding quality is really nice, and the only thing you will need is mask sheet, because it is not included into this kit. And as you remember, Zoukei-Mura does not include any masks with 148 kits. Here we have another plastic sprue. This one is dedicated solely to engine parts, and you can see that we can assemble two quite detailed engines. Here we have engine nozzles, air intakes, also some parts for wheel wells and landing gear flex, and here we can take a look at the external detailing of those two engines. It looks really good, and I recommend to place one of the engines on the special stand, which should be assembled out of those separate pieces, and then you have an engine on its own stand, and still you can assemble aircraft without being crippled without one engine. Next we have quite nice design cue, because Zoukei-Mura decided to avoid any two half assemblies, and here we have one piece nose section. I really appreciate such design, because of course it is easier to assemble such piece. Here it is, and also it is 2018 already, so we should be used to such design, not to two-piece nose cone. Here you can see also some parts for air intakes. This look fine as well, and inside nose cone we have this, let's say, position elements. As you can see, there is slight straight line, which should help you with proper placement of this part on the model. Then we have two absolutely identical frames. I will show you only one, because these are dedicated to external armament. So we have here external fuel tank and missile, several types of missiles. Okay, so here it is. And again, these are molded quite nice way, but I think professionals would replace them with resin option. I mean, it will be up to you what you choose for your aircraft, but of course in 148 scale I would prefer to choose to use resin parts in order to have better detailing. But even these ones, out of the box version, should look fine once you assemble it and carefully paint all the parts. Now I'm opening the next plastic bag. Again, two absolutely identical plastic sprues as far as you can see. So again, I will show you only one. Here we have more of different missiles, and I think some of them will stay in your spare parts, so be ready for some surplus elements. But again, molding quality is really great, as I said before. Here you can see them closer. Some tail fins will have to be attached separately, but otherwise it looks quite fine. We even have leather, which can be placed with aircraft, and then you'll have a nice diorama scene. Next we have bigger plastic frame, which is dedicated, as you can guess, to fuselage halves, and I'm opening it, and I'll show it in a second. Just give me a second. Parts division is typical to previous Phantom versions, so I think you won't be surprised. These are two huge fuselage halves. As you remember, 148 scale Phantom is really big, and we have them both molded together with tail segment. And note that frontal section of air intakes is molded separately. Also we have separate nose cone, as you remember. And what else? External detailing looks quite fine. I can zoom into this tail section and you can see it here. Recess panel lines, riveting is all present here. Then what else? Here you can see air intakes, which are molded separately. And inside we have position pins, for example here in tail section, which should help you with alignment. And note that there is a minor cockpit detailing, which also might be handy if you would like to play with weathering, with shading. Those ribs will be useful. Now I'm opening the last plastic bag. This one is dedicated to wing parts. And again, this model has pretty much the same parts design as on the previous versions. So if you saw some of the previous reviews, you won't be surprised. And I think it's a good thing to have. Just give me a second. So here it is. Here we have separate belly panel. This one. Also here are the top wing halves. Also these are front wing slats. Separate ailerons and flaps. And again, external detailing hooks, absolutely the same as what we saw on the fuselage, on external parts. So you get riveting, you get recessed panel lines, which will benefit from careful painting. Now I'm opening the next plastic bag. This one is not sealed because it is dedicated to decals and assembly manual. So as for the decals, just give me a second. Here it is. Decal sheet. They're printed in cartograph, and I will zoom out so that you can see whole sheet. And here you can see decals for the cockpit. So if you are not a fan of P parts, you can use this and still get a nice cockpit in your model. I really appreciate this feature, but the only thing you should keep in mind that this kit features only one marking option. And I will show you in a second which one. So here it is. We have special poster with marking guide, which is printed in color, of course. Also here we have stenciling guide, decals placement. Here again we have top and bottom view. And paint numbers are given in Gunze designations as far as I remember, or maybe Vallejo. And then we have special brochure about Zoukei-Mura kits. Here we have all versions of F4. And next we have assembly manual. Assembly manual is printed in black and white, and that's a typical styling for Zoukei-Mura. We don't have any short history note here, only technical specifications. Then short history notes, some features of the kit. Then as you can see there are some special features, safety devices. Assembly process starts with pilot seats, cockpit. Then we continue with installing cockpit into the fuselage, closing the fuselage, and as you can see this was a spine panel, which is quite nice design solution so that you won't have any seams in this area. And as far as I guess, as far as I can see, this panel repeats panel lines on the real aircraft. Here you can see engine assembly, and that's what I was talking about. You can assemble separate engine for a display. Then we assemble wings and wheel wells, attach lower wing part and lower fuselage part to the fuselage top section. These are frontal sections of the air intakes, flaps and ailerons, front slats, then landing gear system and arrestor hook. Then here we have wheels for landing gear system. These are some minor external bits. Here is installation of pilot seats, canopy, external equipment, missiles of course are also here. Here we have two versions, possible version of assembly with leather. Then what is this? We have, as far as I can guess, we can position front edge flaps and ailerons. Also here you can see the rear tail leaning forward, cut off and fitting. And here we have parts map. And on the last page we have form for the spares previous order, but it doesn't work in any countries outside of Japan. So that's all for this video review. I hope you enjoyed it. As usual, don't forget to write your opinion here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye!